Hey, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Things have really changed. The market is up. Things are up. What a beautiful week. What a beautiful week. Good morning, wherever you're watching this from. Where are you from? Where are you watching this from? That is the question. Where are you watching this from? So let me just know in the chat. Let's actually engage on the chat right now as we. Okay, let me send some links here. Let me send some links. Yeah, it's a beautiful week. It's a beautiful morning. So we are trying to let me send these links here so that we can have some people joining, please. Good morning. This is Jose Kosengs. Good morning to you. It's a beautiful morning here. A beautiful morning. Beautiful morning. A beautiful morning. A beautiful morning. Good morning. Thank you. Yes, I see now. I see. Let's just people join this. But people remember just it's 10 a.m. 10 a.m. we are here. 10 a.m. we are always here. 10 a.m. we are always here. 10 a.m. we are always here. So I'm sending, let me just send one. Okay. Last week things were really tough. Towards the end of the week, we are going to start there. We are going to start there from last week, but I see something interesting going to happen this week as well. And we are going to capture a very big move that is really going to be happening to the prices. And so we're going as well to capture a very big move this week. So you make sure that you are prepared for this big move that is actually just coming up, and this is going to be much interesting. So ensure that you are here so that we can actually start the analysis for the week, so that you may get to understand what is really going to be like, what is really happening, because there are a lot of things really that are really happening now. If you can check let's even start with the fundamentals, what is really happening, because if you ignore that, you normally don't tend to understand what is actually going to be driving the market. You have to understand the news perspective, economic perspective, political side, sentiment, what is really happening. Because there can be rumors, and rumors as well, they move the market because of sentiment. People may be hearing there is World War III, and then they start buying gold because just of rumors. And people now start feeling. It's about all the feelings here. And that's is always interesting to actually stand all those things, at least to have something that is concrete, instead of just jumping into the market and then you buy and you sell. Let me just bring this to you right now. So if you're watching this, there's a button down here, so make sure that you click that like button. Click that like button. That is the only thing that you can actually do in this video. Make sure that you click that like button. And also there's another one for subscribe button, and then there's for notification bell. Make sure that you do that before now we proceed. What am I checking here? Actually, I was checking the USD JPY. Let's check the technical side. and then we'll go to the fundamental side because I think there are a lot of information that are really moving on. So our checking on USD JPY, and this is the move that we actually been in, and you can see this uptrend that actually this trend that has actually been going on with this USD JPY. Do you see this? This is the trend that we actually been getting from USD JPY. What is really happening? What is really happening right here? Okay, number one, we end JPY actually losing a lot because of the political side of this woman. Yeah, those rumors, actually there are a lot of things that are really happening here we've been discussing, but I think I explained this in details the other day, what was actually what transpired to all this information that we just see here. So apart from that, you see there's actually a gap that was created all the way from 146.6666, and you can see this gap actually has not really been filled. This gap that you see up there has not actually been filled so well, and so many people are waiting for this gap to be filled, probably for this market to around 149, 150. Yeah, but market proceeding to move all the way here, and probably this is the trend that the market was actually been forming, and this you can find it on a 1 hour time frame. Okay, this is what we get on the highest time frame. Allow me to put this here, another. This is the trend that we have been getting for a very long time. This one, you see this touches here, this region test end, we have another move here, we have another one here, and that actually was to confirm now after getting these three, 1 2 3 here. This was actually a good confirmation of what really happened. Most of the time you may see technical signs actually aligning with technical science so perfectly, and you might be wondering what is really happening, but that is what normally happens in the market. You always find fundamental sentiments, all of them. It's actually a psychological thing. Let's talk about this. It's actually a psychological thing. Let me tell you something right I know here. You see, and you have to agree with me on this, there's no argument here. You see what happens normally, for example, when you identify a zone like this, when traders normally identify, let me talk about the traders. When they identify a zone like this one, when I identify a zone like this one around this area here, like 153, and there's how the market actually been trading here, and there's this trend line that is touching here, and now in their mind now they're expecting this market to reverse. Now psychologically, what they start now looking is the news that is actually going to be either positive for the JPY pair here, so that it can drive this market towards downside. It's like just the same theory that is known as the rent car theory. You know how that what is the rent car theory? How is it? It is like for example, when you go to in town and you start looking for, and probably, let's say today you spend your day in town and you've been trying to, someone is asking you, have you seen a red car today? They tell me no. But what if I tell you, just when you go to town, make sure that you spot a red car? Okay, of course you're going to spot many. Okay, you're going to spot many, and when you think about the red car, you're going to spot so many of them. Yeah, that is the same thing. So when this market psychologically fit this area, now what triggers in your mind is that you start looking for the information that is going to lead this market to move down, positive for the JPY pair. And most of this information, we are going to see them, and actually it depends on how you're going to perceive this information. But many people actually, when they see even as small details here, as small detail here, they are actually going to set towards that. But the most important thing of what actually happens here is that sellers actually start now getting out. Sellers get out, and my buyers now gets out here, and now we now start getting sellers becoming more. All right. So the demand start increasing from here, and then we start seeing a supply, like people now start selling from this area here as the market proceeds towards the downside. Now we have this very big gap that was created here last week on Friday, which is actually from 153, and the market went all the way to 151. And I think that's why you can see this is another gap. This is another gap that actually created here, because this market, after closing around this area here, we expected another candle to open here, to open around 151, but you can see it's actually to open some pips up, and that is actually what transferred to this. So this, the gap is not only this one that was actually created, there's another gap here, because you can see this candle that you see here actually not being filled. Okay, this market was actually supposed to open around here 100, at least 139, 140. That was supposed to be the opening point, but you can see now the market is already up around this area here. Now, could it be that because this market, there's already a selling pressure that is going on? Because fundamentally, what we are really checking out here is that the JPY is actually gaining strength again. JPY is actually gaining the strength. Okay. That's why you see this market actually, doing all these things. But the problem here again is because also I don't think whether they're actually going to, like the Bank of Japan, I don't think whether they're actually going to hike the interest rate. And that's think people have been thinking about that, but I don't think whether that is possible for now. That is, I don't think whether that is really going to be happening. I don't think that is really going to be happening. Most of what actually been driving this, but remember there's also one of these things that are actually been happening, and there is actually causing the USD. Remember here we have the USD being the main problem. Like let me draw something here for you. I'm looking. We have the USD. So this USD, due to the political tensions that is actually going on, this tariff war that is really back again between US and China. You know the things about the US tariffs, and the one that actually causing this, the price that caused this price actually to drop all the way to 141 due to the weakening of USD. And I think that is the same thing that you saw happening to the prices of the gold, because there was high volatility. There was really high volatility that was really happening to that market on Friday. So there was high volatility that was actually happening to this market, and that is what we were really expecting. And yeah, that's how the market actually moved. Now, what is the direction? What is actually likely to happen? Because this war probably is going to just escalate. This how China is actually to trying to tell the US, if you try to attack us, then you see fire. I like China though. I like China. I like China though. So, but you see this movement, of course, we cannot ignore that, because number one, if this kind of actually created a gap, and also there was this gap that was created here between this candle here on IS time frame, it was already been filled, but actually we actually had to move at least below 150. So I don't think whether we are really out of the wound yet to move down. And when we go to the higher 4-hour time frame, probably we are going to see that clearly. That is really going to happen here. And if you take Fibonacci from this point here, we see we are actually supposed to come at least around here. Let's say this, yeah, actually we have to come here, and this is the same zone that I have actually highlighted before. So for this, actually we just need to come in, We need actually the market to come all the way to that point, which is below. This is actually below 150. So the market has to come slightly below 150, and I'll be waiting for that for your USD JPY. There is likelihood we are going to move to that point. The next one that I'm going to use here, let's see for the fixed one, where we have, yeah, you see the same thing. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. So there's high drop that is actually happening here. So where is the ending for this? Where is this market likely to return? So when this market comes to the point of control, I know I'm fast on this, but you really get it. So when this market comes to the point of control here, I am expecting this. Wow. We are moving to the gold. I want to move to the gold. That is what I want to see. So yeah, so on this market absolutely comes around 152,500, then we may expect this price to drop here before now we proceed to move down. That is what I expect from the USD JPY. Okay, now around here, that is where we will be having, this is where we will be having a sell. We'll be having a sell here. That's why I'm going to have a sell. All right, so when I have some like, I have like 300 point for this market. So when it's moved to 300 point, around 30 pips, then I'll sell. Okay, that is my selling point here. Absolutely, from 450 to around, let's say 500. 500 is okay. From 500 here, where we have the POC, and then I'll sell all the way to below 150. I think that will be big because those are so many pips there. Those are many pips. Those are many pips there already. Yeah, around 200. Yeah, more than 200, more than 250 pips is that will be incredible. Those will be incredible. 250 pips is so nice. So yeah, let's now wait for the USD JPY when it's come to this zone, and which is around 150, around here. That will be nice. That will be nice. But in case that fails, you don't need actually to put your, remember this will be very close here. You see this? Because it can actually this market, there's likelihood that it can actually come and test this high here, which is can be double top. So those are the things that we really want to try to avoid. So that's why I'm going to put, let's see how the risk reward, because every time we are setting these, we need to see the risk reward ratio. So what is the risk reward ratio here? I want to see the risk reward. When this market comes to that zone, I'll be looking for something different. Let's see the risk reward. What is the risk reward ratio here? Where do we have this thing? Where do we long, short? Let's see the risk reward ratio here. I move all the way down. Let's say here, and then stop loss, I place it above there, which is 153.8. Of course, the risk reward ratio here will be 2.3. So if you'll be risking $10, you will be getting $23. That's amazing, right? If you're going to risk $10, you're going to get 23. Absolutely. Yeah, that's clean. That's clean. Yeah, so that's clean. But there is a likelihood, but I don't think so. We might be ending this way again, 153. Yeah, but this is the area that I'll be waiting for around POC here to act as a resistance, and then the market absolutely to just come down again all the way to slightly below 150, slightly below 150, and I think that will be even, yeah, that is slightly below 150 here, around here. So that won't be actually above 2. So when we have at least a risk to reward being 2, that's, I think that's you know, that's a go ahead. That's a go ahead. So I have a trend to place here today. So that is number 1. I'll write that down. So what I'm going to do with this, I'm going to create an alert such that when this market approaches for 400, so I'm going to create an alert here around 400, and every time I'm going to create such that it's ending November. On side of notification, it will send me an email such that I'll not be in my setup, but to send me email. And let's play sound. Okay. 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 Conditions price is crossing every time. Okay. Now we have that first alert. So that is our focus now towards them. That is now what we are projecting towards USD JPY. That is number one. That is what I'm waiting to see on the USD JPY. I sell when this market comes to these positions, all right there. Because I'm actually expecting these prices to come down. I'm expecting the USD to lose some strength here. I'm waiting for it. Let's see. I want to see more about DXY. I want to see more about DXY so that at least when we have this information, it can actually help us to know where we are moving. This will not give me something clear, but it's okay. It's okay. 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 Let me not use that 100%. I don't really like it. I'll be checking that later, but let's see what we are going to get. But absolutely, when it comes to like 900, 200, the strength will be going to push the USD JPY all the way up, probably to 500. Before now, we are back again. That will still be okay. That's fine. Now, the moment we have been waiting for, gold. What is actually been moving? What is really happening to the prices of gold? Last week was good. We mixed. Actually, we entered two positions. That the one, there's one that was earlier, but there's another one that we entered. Actually the ran so good. It was so perfect. It was so perfect. So we in those two entries that we really got from gold at that time. But I want to check these on daily time frame so that we can see where are we. Gold is still moving up as the banks continue to hold and accumulate more gold. So when people start seeing gold approaching a quarter of the next psychological level, like 75, that we are heading probably to 4,100. Now, what most people do is that, they now buy. For example, they say, I'm going really to buy from 75 because there's high likelihood that the market is absolutely going to go all the way to 4,100. Yeah, there's no problem with that, but you can see at least we still have another big move to cover. Although I want to put this in your mind. Let's see how many gaps if let me let me put this let me put this. I want to see. I want to have lightened this. You see, these are kind of the gaps that was created here, and one of it is here. So where we have the gap is here, 39. These are gaps that has not been filled. This only. Yeah. So I was expecting at least this market to come and at least have something here. I was expecting it to come around this zone, although it did not touch that one. So yeah, so here I was expecting below 39.40. 39.40. I was expecting that below that 940. Last week I said the same thing. I was expecting this price to go below that 940. 39.40, and one of it is to fill at least these gaps you see here, the market, and not completing the retracement and the pullback. Thus you can see now it is really moving up again. Where are we ending to? Allow me to put, let me see. You can see the market is actually on the highest time frame. We are actually on extreme level, extreme. Yeah, the buyers have actually been up for a very long time here. We are actually on extreme. Let me check on the weekly. This is the highest one. Look at this. This is weekly. Actually, is not touched. That means when we actually will be going back, when the prices of gold actually will start to moving down, it's actually going to move so down so big that is actually going to shock. It's going to shock so many. I was talking the last time I was talking about the crash. But do you know there's actually some funny information that really going on here about crypto? We'll be talking about that because there are people who've been killing themselves, man, because of the crash that actually happened, I think last week. And that is so dangerous, especially for the investors. I will give you some advice on what to not to do, especially for the people probably who are trading Bitcoin, trading cryptocurrency. That is so dangerous. So the market actually moved all the way to 102, but do you know actually there's something that is coming up which is actually even bigger than that. I always say that something is really coming. The reason I'm saying this, I want you to look at this thing here. You see, this is the highest level that we have. This extreme level of buy. The market is like so much up. I'm checking this normally, I normally check. I can use the RSI when, like indicators when the market. I normally can use the indicators when the market is down. When the market is actually creating high highs, or the market is creating all times highs, because most of this time I need to really understand what actually been transferring to this big move. So on this weekly time frame, this you can see actually the highest is underachieved is 94 here, but this I think that is the time. This is a long time ago, around the 80s. This is 1979. 1979, there were not so many traders to put money into the market. But from 86, from 1986, from 1983, you hear this? From 1983. And I think this is because retail traders were actually not into the market these 83s. But from 83 here, you can see the extreme level that we actually achieved lately is absolutely the same level we are right now. And every time we actually achieved these levels, I want to show you what the market actually been doing, making big moves. And that's why you have to now to be very careful, especially if you are on the sticking to the buying of the gold all the time. Those are the history that you actually have to be checking. You don't want to just ignore them. Look at this. This is an extreme level of 84. When this market achieved around 1900, and this was actually 20, I think this is 2011. This is around August. Yeah, this is 2011. This is 2011. You can see the gold and achieved 1920. After getting to this extreme level of 1920, gold actually moved just within, I want to see you, within 1 week, within 3 weeks, it moved from 1918 all the way to 1536. Do you know how many dollars are that? So that is actually 1536 from 19, that almost 36 again here. So that is a move of 3000. So there's likelihood for this market within 3 weeks to move from 4100 that you see here, and it actually moved to, when you subtract that, you'll get that 8, or sometimes because it's around 4074, you get even below 38. That is 37. Okay, so you can absolutely get 37 within 3 weeks. How many people are actually going to lose money from that? Because they are waiting, they are, when the market moves $100 below, they start buying because they think the market is actually going to move up. You buy again, you buy again. Probably just look at that. Look at this one. I know there are so many people who bought after seeing this candle here when the market probably and achieved 1656, but it continued to move down all the way down again to 1535. So this is one of the things that can actually happen to these prices of the gold, and those are the levels that you really have to understand. You have to understand those levels. We have another one of 85 here, and you can see what actually happened from 1553, and it moved all the way to 14. That is 100 within a short period as well, and we got that one. This is another big move that happened, but those are kind of things that we really have to understand. But now we are living here. We are living here. We are living here. Although there are a lot of changes, but you get all those information that you really need. You can actually go and click that you must be seeing, because number one, gold is reaching new highs because of US China trade deep money talks and all that. This information that is really going on with the Trump and his team and all those things, fear these people, because you can just wake up in the morning and all those deals are gone. Because you see, the reason I'm projecting this is because there's highly likelihood for this market. You see, number one of what is happening, I think this because of demand that has actually been going on with the gold for the last some few years. But number two, one thing that you really have to understand, the war is completed. Like the peace is there. The peace is there. There's no more war. I think there's a peace treaty that is really going on, and the people, the Israel and whatever they are doing here, there's a peace that is really going on, and when there is peace and all that, people really don't need to accumulate much of the gold, and when the gold will start actually moving down, because all these things, the prices that you see up here are being achieved, or that big move actually being foiled by a lot of these things that you see, these things that you see out there, which includes even the war that actually been going on. So when this market start dropping, then it's actually going to be here for a long time, and those are kind of things that we're really waiting to see from this market. So gold is not yet done. So for those who are here, I don't know why you're not liking this live, because I don't know. You make sure that you like this live first. Make sure that you do that right now. Like this live, right? Just make sure that you like this live now. Can you help me like this live? I'm waiting to see people liking this. I'm going now to go, like, we are going to small details until we see whether we can get some good signal for the gold either today. But I just want to put that in your mind, what we can actually expect to happen to the prices of gold long term. We can actually have long term. So this is not the time that you're really going to be seeing the prices of the gold moving down, and your work is to just you buy. When you see prices moving down, you buy. You see prices moving down, then you start buying. That will frustrate you big. I'm about to give you a signal for the gold. So yeah, yes, we are almost there. We are almost now. When do I see this actually price moving? Number one, we have seen there's a likelihood for this market to proceed. This we probably we can actually even hit, let's say even 100 there, 4,100. But one thing that you actually have to put in mind, this likelihood for the shift and big shift that is really going to happen here on terms of the gold, and this will frustrate so many people. The market cannot really continue moving up every day. You wake up and then you see the price is actually moving up. Hmm? That is one thing that you actually have to put in mind. Now, this is it. Now, this is what I see. These prices are actually just moving. You see this big move that we really got here. You see? This is another trend, big one that we actually got from after the market. So when we go to the weekly basis, after this market actually, trading, the market after trading long time on ranging between these zones here, after ranging here, now we got this big move that we really get from this market. And that's why there's likelihood for at least to come back all the way to this position that we really have here. But at least they see whether we are going to achieve that on the lowest side, because now when we move to the weekly time frame, we are already up. When we move to the monthly time frame, we are already very up. I think to the level of 92 there. So within like 2 months before, probably even before the end of the year. But when we actually approach around December, there are so many people. There is how the demand of gold normally start shooting high, because people you normally use gold for. There's high purchase that normally happens for the gold, because also the how people purchase the physical gold can actually interpret on how the prices of the gold is actually to be people can buy as the gift and all those things, but not always though. Yeah, but you can see we are really on the extreme levels, monthly, weekly, and also on the daily time frame. So those are things really to observe when you are trading in this market. You put that in mind that that this market is absolutely going to move down, and not simple but big move that will actually be happening to the prices of the gold. Yeah, so today the market is still moving up, because you can see on the 4-hour time frame the market is still up, but I will be expecting at least this market to come below this area here. Now I don't know where this market actually will be ending to, because it's still on the lowest time frame. I'm still expecting these prices to move. I'm still expecting to see, in case maybe probably we get to the higher prices like 4,000, but I think we have failed to break. We have failed to break around 4,000 and 4,000. This was actually 4,077. We have failed to break that one. Most likely it is very hard to know where actually to put like buys, sells for the gold, especially when it is creating all times highs. But anytime from now, whether it's going to, but in case it's going to touch around 4,100, trust me, around 90s, I'm going to sell again, because there is probability that this market is absolutely going to move down. So I'm projecting for a very big move. I'm predicting that gold will actually hit, is going to sell massively, like 2 weeks consistently, or maybe even 3 weeks. As you can see from this, it has actually been buying within like almost 3 months, almost, I think not only 1 month, but almost the whole of this year, we have been actually buying from gold, buying each and every month, buying. The market moving up. So we are approaching to that level that we are going to sell massively. And last week you saw is really possible because the 24 hours live stream, and we saw as I thought it was going to sell massively for this, but still we are not yet, because that sell off that I'm waiting for is not really has not yet be achieved, because you're going to be waking up to sell now. We are going to change the shift. Okay, but now for the sell, I cannot really know where the market is really going to settle from, because there is no area that has visited here to tell no, we can actually visit his area here, so it's very hard for us now to know that. But what we can just do with this is just give the gold time and to move up. So when actually it just moves up, let's say even for example 4100, then at least we can see some signs there to at least to derive some conclusions to say now we can actually settle from them that market. But for now, because it has already created a new high and it has moved above this and it's still showing the signs for the moving up. Now the area that we can actually project to see is around 4100. So when we achieved at least that whole number there, then we can now go back and see some of the analysis of volume, all that. Now, but on my side, I'll be checking I want to see the heat map. I'll be checking the heat map to see where we have the limit orders. That is will be very important, because the limit orders can actually be here. There are some people probably will be waiting here, but those can actually be false ones, because that can actually pull the market up. But I need to understand where those levels are. Those are the heat maps. I will use the heat map. I will use actually the heat map to know where those orders are. But I'll be updating you later, because this is something that has to take time to analyze and see all those levels so well. So I'll be checking on the heat map. This is not really going to help you at all. Yeah, so it's only the heat map that will help you to understand and underscore those things, where I'll be waiting to see this market. Yeah, so I'm going to use different platform. Now that's you see, now that is interesting. That is interesting. I see. You see, it's just moving. Probably now we'll be waiting to see when it actually, because now we are quote at 100. I think 350. That is the 3 out of. Is it 3 out of 4? Or we can see 75. We are 75% towards 100, towards 4100. So when we are be approaching those levels now, we can at least have some good conclusions. We started by analyzing the USD JPY when it was around 52 200. So I'm waiting for 400, and then I'll be alert to sell at 152 500. But there's likelihood in case maybe it moves all the way up, so I'll be scaling in until I see. I have to check so well that POC that we analyzed there. I have to check so well before I short the market. I have to check candles so much well for me now to sell at that point. Those are things that we have really checked today. You see, let me talk about this. I think there are some people who have been selling or been on the crude oil prices. There is peace treaty, there is peace in the world, and when this peace, there is good supply of the oil. There is no restrictions for the movement of the oil. Everything is normally cool, and everything is normally so good. And that's why you see this is actually how these prices actually moved. And you can see both the US oil, UK oil actually moved so down all the way. For example, this is the US oil, it actually moved all the way from 58. And this was a very big move that actually happened from the last week, from 62 here, and then we got absolutely to these levels around that area here. Technically, this was actually derived by from the talks of what actually been happening, but I think probably because now we end already achieved the target like 57, there was 55. There's a time we achieved 55. there is likelihood for this market probably again to continue moving down, because you can see that is the direction that we are really getting from the US well. So there's likelihood we are really going to continue to move this until now we see something happen, because now this is the moment. This is the moment. And you see now, when you see a oil price is actually jumping up, somehow they can actually give you some of these signals on how, the wound piece is, the wound piece is. But when you see the war is really happening to the countries like that produce much of the oil prices, like the Arab countries, then you always obviously expect the prices actually to hike up, to move up for the oil prices. There are also some countries that are producers that have related, that has correlationship with oil, and you obviously expect that. Let me just give you that. Okay, there are countries that you can check. Let me give you, I want to give you something cool. Yeah, but we have already analyzed so well, that is USD JPY and gold, on what we just expect for this market to just do. And those are kind of things that we're really going. So in case the prices of gold actually hit all the way there, then we are going to go. And we are good to go. So recently I've been not been like trading oil prices so much, but I was really looking for us, so that at least we can really analyze the prices of uh, the stock indices. We'll be checking the stock indices as well. So for example, when I'm talking about oil, I was looking at Canada. You can actually look like Canada. When we talk about Australian dollar, we can actually think about the prices of the gold. New Zealand, that is Norway, we can actually also think about. And also, by the way, train South African rand, but that's it, just different from us. So I was looking for the price of the gold, which can actually be relatable to the CAD. CAD. Let's see what really happened, because that is the things I'm really interested to see. I'm really interested to see. A beautiful week. Beautiful, 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 beautiful week. Hmm. We cannot really use Saudi because of gold. We cannot use Saudi because of the gold. We can. Let me check the strength as well. We'll be going analysis to that. The strength. Wow, this is a beautiful thing here. So this is a correlationship. Let me check the sentiment. You see how the majority normally are wrong. Let me show you here. Let me show you an interesting thing. Where is this thing? Let me show you. For example, let's see. How's Euro CHF? Euro CHF. You see how this market actually dropped here all the way to that point here. But you know what is happening? The majority actually are in buys for this. Majority are in buy position for the Euro US CHF. What is it? They're selling so much on almost 90% USD and let's see. They gonna sell for your USD and the market is moving up, but they are selling the on a short position, like USD can't. Many of them are selling. I want to show you here. Yes, actually get it. This is USD can't. Is it this one? Look at this. Majority are actually on a short position. Only less people here. You see, it's symbol here. It's actually here. Let me show you again. Look at that. 80%, 86% are in a short position, and how many are in long position? 14%. There is 4,241 lots entered. That is 10,000 positions on short positions, but on the long positions, 10% of traders are actually currently trading USD. Crazy, right? Crazy. Hey, but what is happening to the USD can't? It is buying. So this means that they're actually losing here. That's why you can see there are negatives. When you check these, they're actually minus 137 pips down. That's crazy. So when you see majority doing some of things, just fear. When you see, hey, hype, buy gold, just fear these informations. because the market actually might be doing opposite of what they are doing, and that is what you actually have to fear more. Wow. What? So the USD candy is buying, but majority are actually on. They are on. Look at that. This is buying, but majority of USD can't. They are actually on long position. 86%. No wonder how. No wonder actually 90% of traders lose money in forex. See. Let's see another one. USD JPY. Majority are in sell position. Okay, you can see they are still negative. Average short position is around 148. Why is the 140? Did the market actually even come? That means there are so many people who actually been holding this position for a long time. There's USD JPY, but of course we know the JPY is been moving up from last week. The market is actually moving up. So this is another wrong side. That another one. This is selling but buying. So those are kind of things that you really have to understand. Yeah, but you also make sure that you understand the relationship between currencies and the commodities. It will help you as well. That was just for USDJPY is approaching to a level of a sell point, so I'll be preparing my account for short position. I'll be preparing for short position here. I'm preparing to enter the market. So 20 pips more, and then we have a sell position. 20 more, and then we have sell position there. So let's increase that. What? Yeah, almost approaching there. I'll put 1 hour time frame. Yeah, so that's what we have here. So I'm preparing for my entries for Monday morning. So this is my first entry actually this week. So even when the gold I was actually making big move, I was very asleep. I was in pace. I don't like entering positions when I'm asleep. But closing, yes. We are moving. We are almost there. My position's just ready, so I hope because now we approach it. This is 11 a.m. and there's another candle that has actually opened right there. I hope it's going to take us all the way up. By checking things, I know it's actually going to take us to the sell position that we have here, which is 500 here. Up that candle is going to take us to that point, and then we can short the market from that point, and then we'll be good to go. So my market everything is set right here, so I'm just going to wait for the market to approach those zones, and then we are going to go from that. Do we really have some questions here? Carlos, good morning. Yeah, very beautiful indeed after powerful Sunday service. Okay, very nice. Very nice one. So yeah, Carlos is here. So those who are engaging on the chat, thank you so much. So this week again, we are going to grab the market like never before. We are going to deposit, withdraw things. So last week was good because I actually made some withdrawals live here. I made some withdrawals live. The money we created here. So the money that I make today is that not really say that is what I've made throughout the week. Remember, we can make money today, but tomorrow we lose something. Next Wednesday we make everything. Tuesday. So at the end of it, actually that is I think gross. There's a gross profit, and I don't know those terms, but there's a net profit. When by you lose, you win, then at the final we have the net profit that is remaining. That is the end of the week, and it was very wholesome. It was very nice. Wow, that was incredible. That is incredible. So this week I hope we're going actually to be again so interesting. When we lose position here, we lose. When you see it, huh? So then this is the candle I'm talking about here. I hope it's going to take us there. Okay. With that in mind, allow me to check 1, 2, 3 things here. No worries. Allow me to check 1, 2, 3 here. What is the correlationship between USD and USD JPY and Euro USD right now? Is it Don't we have USD? %54 negative. I was expecting at least 70, like Euro, South African Rand, but 54% is not good. So for those who are thinking now, because we're going to sell, we're about to sell USD JPY now, buying USD JPY, look like it can move, but not 100%. At least 70-80% will be good. But this one is 54%. Aibambi sana. That's not something to celebrate. That's no. That's a no. That's a no. So I cannot really do that. That is, but we can check for the USD JPY and see which pair probably you're going to either buy or sell at the same time. So number one, if we are going to sell the USD JPY, we need to check GBP JPY. Is it really going to sell as well? Because the correlationship is good, 87%. So these are just something to have confluence with. So with 87% rate, that means we can check the GBP JPY to see whether it's actually going to sell as well. We can check not so much, but this pair here, although I don't know what chart is that. USD can't. USD can't. I want to check on this. This is silver. Euro 85% South African JPY. I don't want to I want the one that does not have JPY at the end. This is XAUOD 88%. I want to check these things. It's part of plan. $60, $70, $83. Can you check? I've seen Singapore here. Singapore, yeah. Let's check USD Singapore dollar. Let's see Singapore dollar here, which is 88%. USD SGD. So this is the extra work I normally do. SGD. Let's check from Ohanda. So the relationship is like, okay, the relationship is at 80%. Yeah, but this is actually moving on the side. We have this region tested. Failed. So this market is going to move all the way here, which is down, which is almost around here. So could it be testing this point and move down here? Okay, it's very close. It's very close here. I'm just trying to reason. So this is US dollar, Singapore dollar, but you can see it's actually been moving up all the way. That means the Singapore dollar has been actually been weakening against the USD, which is interesting as well. All right, I see. Okay, so when USD JPY will be achieving the well, because we expect it to move up, we expect the USD JPY to move up. So that's the same thing that probably is going to happen to this here. But when actually it reaches this point here, we might now look for how the market is going to react towards that zone. That is what I expect from this market. But you can see it's still the same thing that we expect, because here we will expect at least a move of 230 pips, and the same thing we expect the 30 pips on the other side, with that 80% correlationship with this, then we can actually have the same thing. But the problem, what I have the problem is because of the USD as the base currency. I want some the problem that we have is because the USD as the base currency, and I think that is what is increasing this one to be 88%, at least 73% with the non-correlationship of this. This is silver. I think it's silver. Let me see what is happening here. I like doing this. It's fun, right? The silver euro. Relationship is the 73%. The 73%. Silver already achieved 45 and achieved 45%. Just moving and creating highs like gold, so it's very hard now probably to know where it is going to end. So boom, yeah, cooked there. Yeah, so we're still creating highs just like other currencies. Yeah, but we are still there. 73% will not give me that what I really want. Yeah, a correlation shift. 73% is less. Expecting at least 80% with with not matching on the base end to be different currencies. Yeah, let's put everything there so that when I enter the positions, we're going to really check. We are going to have them. We are going to be seeing how the market, how things are really going to unfold. And I'm still waiting. We're still waiting. So on the screen, let me continue doing my fun things here. I will tell you what to expect, but this is what we expect from this market to do here. Then I'll have my first sell, but there are a lot of things I'll consider here at POC before we place that sell position. So we have a lot of things to check there. So that's a good one. Did we miss some move? Yeah, okay. Let me see. Oh my goodness. So the market touched here, which is around 445. 445, but we have 492 here, and we are back again, some pips, around 20 pips down. Yeah, I see. But so unless maybe we are back again, but oh Jesus, we missed. Okay, what are we really going to do here? Because that could actually be big, from 2029 here all the way back to around that. Actually could be 20 pips down, and that could actually be a good some amount of money there, right? That could actually be some amount of money there. But at least let's see what is really going to be transferred here. If this market is still going to move 500, I was waiting for 500. Yeah, I was going to, but you have seen a lot. I think it has been triggered, and the one that we actually placed here, 152, 400. So it's actually crossed that one. So I'm going to put another one, and that is actually going to be instant, like 150. Let me put 500. Let me place 500. That is where I'm going to place one. Okay, are we really done here? No, unless maybe if this is going to move below 200, then this is actually going to be invalid. Like 500 entry there, I'm not going to validate it. Like I'm going to probably change some things. Like yeah, I will have to change. I will have to change in case we get the prices actually moving. Like we get higher than that. I will change. I will have to change. So we just give it more time. I really want to have these entries, and we have to enter this together. Amazing work. The one who was asking the SL is around 153,700. But in case this market moves below this, I think we are going to have a problem. It's going to be a trouble, because we can penetrate and move all the way up there, which is around 153. Yeah, but remember, you actually have to remember where we have placed the stop loss. But we are going to wait this to come down all the way back there. So that is what I'm waiting to see from this market. Gold is touching 40.79, which is another all-time high. Another all-time high. Last week it was really chaos, and let's talk about this as we wait for these prices to move all the way down. You see what is really transparent to this, like the market actually moved so fast last week, and you can see this type of crash that actually happened to the side of the Bitcoin. Is actually there's allegedly that 2,000 people actually committed suicide because of that crash that actually happened. And who are these people? Because when you are trading, let's say you are trading crypto, because I'm also an investor in this crypto industry. Let's just talk about this move here. Let me show you. Do you know what move are we talking about here? We are talking about this big move that actually happened here. This is what actually happened last week. Let me show you. Let's look at this. The market actually moved within like 4 hours. The market moved from, this is 122. Look at that. This is 122. This is 122. $300. Okay. And went all the way to 102. So that is a $20,000 move. $20,000 move. $10,000 move. That means if you are trading on the spot, even for the people who are actually trading on the spot, that means, like, for example, people who have bought full Bitcoin, like you buy full Bitcoin without leveraging. You know, when you actually leverage, that means you're using the leverage, like you have small amount of money and you're using it for the leverage. For the people who are actually to use just only that is just buying on the spot, like converting Bitcoin. What? That was a very big drop that actually happened, but did not last. So I think for the people these people who actually committed suicide here, like you see over 2,000 people here who are allegedly actually people saying that they committed suicide because of are they these people really killed, or maybe some because this is just an information, this is just rumors, but there's this guy who actually was found just dead in his skull, but I don't know really because he's from Ukraine. I don't know whether it is death or maybe probably mandant, but this crash maybe after happening, this probably losing all the portfolio here. Yeah, you see, 19 million market crash. Okay, suicide suspected. People suggesting that it probably is a suicide, all those things, and it's really crazy. You know what is really happening to this market. The way these things are really happening so fast, and just see this. So these are the news that we really got. Is called the Kudo. Those who are investors, they really know about this guy. But we can actually expect this even to happen more, not only on the gold on this market, but also gold can actually do that. Like last week, what we actually saw happening to the prices of the gold, moving $100 within some few minutes, the prices was down, and you can see within 4 hours the gold was actually $20,000 down, and this is crazy. But for this big number here, where people are suggesting that it's rumors and all these people killed themselves because of money, that's crazy. That's crazy. I don't know whether there's any amount of money I can actually lose in the market. Probably maybe I might be depressed, but killing myself because of losing money in the crypto industry, no way. The formula I actually used to make that money is the same formula that I can use to get the same amount of money. Yeah, I can use just the same formula to make money. So there's no need for suicide note and all those things. So that is, but you see, this is just a rumor though. This is just a rumor. I actually sold Bitcoin at 122 and existing somehow, but I missed that big move that actually happened because I was full here on I was just full here, but you can see $19 billion actually was liquidated here. So that's crazy. That's crazy. But why are people normally lose money fast? This is for the question I normally receive a lot, and this is because for the people who normally trade on features. So anytime probably you are investing, let's say you're investing in Bitcoin, BitGet, all those crypto trading platform, one thing that you actually don't have to do is don't trade. Don't trade on features. That means don't use the leverage. There are some people who are putting money there and they are on the leverage of 10. They are leveraging of 10. That means that probably you have $1,000, but you are putting a leverage of 20. That means is 20 you are risking. You like the money you are putting, the risk is $20. But every amount of money that money loses is actually going to be on your side. For example, let's see how the market actually crashed by $20,000. Okay, $20,000. Currently, the price of gold was actually 122. So assume now you put your hand. Assume now you earned $20,000. You earned around $20,000. So you multiply that times is it 4, 5, 6. So if you put a leverage of 6 with $20,000 on gold, you put a leverage of 6. So where you put a leverage of 6 to $20,000 that you have on the account, that is 120,000. So with that risk, that means you're actually going to lose very fast. So if the market moves down by 20,000, if Bitcoin how it moved actually by 20,000, that means that you actually be buying full Bitcoin. You have $20,000, but that means you are buying full Bitcoin of 120, because $20,000 times 6, that is 120. That is the price of one full Bitcoin. So, and you see Bitcoin actually crashed by $20,000. So if that means that you could have actually lost $20,000, that means your account could actually be wiped. So every time you're investing this, make sure that you don't use leverage at all. This market can absolutely crash so big and many times. So that is what candidate transfer to the big. But what you see from Bitcoin and Ethereum is that this market are actually been moving up, and people are being expecting this market absolutely to continue moving. This, just look at that. This. Do you know, actually, I started trading when this market was. I started trading around 2020. That is when I knew about crypto industry. When these prices were around 11,000, before it actually jumped to 18. There's even at this one. Do you which big move there with God? Because after achieving 68, gone where this market went all the way to 15. You see, they went all the way to 15, and you can see my analyses are still there, because I was just using the same platform. Look at this. I was still analyzing the market all those time. This is the year 2021, 2022, 2020, the COVID time when the market crashed. So we have been through the market crashes, how these things have been unfolding for many years. So between gold and how the crypto industry has been, trust me, one day probably the market is even going to crash even more. Make sure that you are always using risk so well. All right, have a good risk management here, especially if you are trading crypto. Don't go for these things called leverage. It will cost you so big. Yeah, if you're trading crypto, don't go for the leverage. Leverage will actually kill you. If you trade on the leverage, it's up to you now, because things will be so bad for you. Remember where I was waiting for at least these prices to get here, which is, I don't want us to be frustrated when this price of the gold of USD JPY oh yeah, it's this one. Yeah, I'm waiting for this year 152, 550, 150, 500 inside there. That is what we are really waiting to see here. Yeah, But remember also, over the weekend, weekend the last weekend, the market actually created a very big gap on the opening of the market. Also, this weekend, the market has also created another gap here, because the market closed at 131 but opened at 151.726. So we have another gap that was already created here, which actually accumulated to around 60 pips there, around 50 pips movement of that was what we really get here. I'm expecting this price to come around 56 here, so that we can raise and decide whether this market is going to move down, and that is what we are waiting to see from this market before our entry. But this market has already touched around 445. So when this market will be approaching these zones, we'll be very careful. The POC here will be very careful now, because you can see the market is rolling down. We could have actually started selling inside the zone here of 445 and probably give it around 10 pips, around 10 15 pips by scaling in, but already it is down. I don't know whether it's really going to reverse again, but I'm not going to chase the market in case probably it's going to move down. And I think probably it's going to move maybe to this 152 here or below 152. Yeah, so in case we get there, so that is what we are expecting to get from this. But in case we cross or above there, probably we are going to end all the way to top here, which is 153. But already this market has touched this 445, and you can see this kind of driving here back. So that's how things are really unfolding so fast, and I think that is the time I was not here, but I saw 400. So we just be patient and see when the market approaches that zone again, what are we really going to be getting when this market comes to that area. So this is scalping gold. I'm just a scalping gold here, so I'm gonna close 88. That's okay. Yeah, so scalping gold. Another 80. Okay, just as so look at that. The market actually decided to sell from the point that you are waiting for. So which makes this point here probably to be invalid. I think we are late for this entry because we can actually have entered this to be bigger one. And I think where this market is ending is actually heading to this area here. You see, is absolutely ending likely this area here or around. That is not going to be going below 152, and probably when this market touches this area here is going to jump again. But that is an opportunity mixed. We missed this by just a small peep. We missed this by just small peep here move. Like was actually to be 440 here. It was supposed to be around 45 here. So we missed by 10 peep move. Not 10 peep actually, just even smaller than that one. I think 5 pips. That is a move that we missed right there. It's so interesting, that one. So there's no problem with that. I've already made some quite good maneuver here, just escaping gold. 40, 45, 70, and $80. You can calculate that. So that's how the market moved. That's how I just captured this big move of the gold here, and that is interesting. So by capturing that, this is scalping we got there for the gold. That was amazing one. So where are we ending for this gold? Let me see if I can have like 1.5. Let me see. I want to risk $100 here again. Let's see. $100 to, is it 100? Yeah, 100 to 100. So we might not validate the position that we were talking about, the USD JPY, because already the market was down below 200, and I think or we just have to change few things. There's likelihood the market is actually going to touch this and go back again, as we are talking about here. So there's probability that when it goes back to 152,500, like it's going to move all the way to this position around here, which is 153, around 153. You can see this big drop here. Of course, we can expect probably the price to come back to 152, but we missed that one because we couldn't have actually hand around that big move. We missed that by just a few ones, so no regret, no hurry, but there's likelihood market is actually going to move to that area. So if it's going to back to 153, 168, which is around 100 pips after this, then that is still going to be so much interesting when we are there, when we got that place. All right, now for those, if you want to this one, so I'm going to close these at 30. As you can see, that is 30, 80, and all those are really got. This is just a scalping. I'm just closing, and yeah, so that is what I have today. Not that I make sure that I make something here together, so that at least we missed that big move for the USD JPY. But I will see what we can do when this market approaches this zone. I want to close this from now on, and I want to see you again tomorrow here at 10 a.m. We catch some big moves, but make sure that you subscribe and like and turn notification bell. Why? Because I might actually come back here so that I give you signal for the gold when the market moves, and also the USD JPY when the market moves. Make sure that you are here. So one thing that you can actually do is make sure that there's a subscribe button down there. Make sure that you subscribe right now, because I'm actually going to come back again. I'm coming back, and when I come back, we have to do this in a bigger way. I have to give you we have to train, we have to do something, big moves. I'm actually don't consider scalping as a part of the signal right there. That's why I cannot tell you like buy, those things, sort of things. You may end up doing mistakes, and also the transmission between where I am, between YouTube and what I'm saying is not instant. So we might miss a lot. I might say sell when the price I'm taking the TP or I'm taking the stop loss. So scalping is very hard unless probably we have a Telegram, something like that. Thank you so much for those who are enjoying this. I'll see you again tomorrow, 10 a.m. or anytime from now. I'm going to come back.